we got more boats, and then the next year was like, Hard Rock's like, we're all in. We love the event, we love the tournament, and everything like that.
And they love Jimmy too.
And they love Jimmy and all thing like that. So, guaranteed $1 million purse, like that. And then all the boats started coming,
showing up.
And then Todd was like Dennis, we got to come up with something cool. Hard Rock's in here, everything like that. Like, I'm like, what do you want to come up with? He's like, I don't know, man. Think of something. You're the creative guy. So I started thinking about it, and I came back to him about a week. I said, I got an idea. It's Hard Rock, so why don't I just paint like a sailfish on a guitar, and we'll auction it off, right? And they're like, oh, yeah, great. So we did that the first year, and it went for like $14,000. We're like, oh, we got something here. People like this, you know, it's cool, right? So, but I didn't really do a good job on it. You know, I just like painted like a quick sailfish, just, you know, do something like that. You know, it was decent, you know what I mean? But it's like not like getting into it like these ones now,
right?
You know, so I started like doing a better job on them, and now they go for like $35,000, you know, at the auction at the tournament. So it's like now they're like
ramping up.
It's on autopilot. Like, yeah, you got to do a guitar. Don't forget that guitar.
That's smooth. Now, does Jimmy sign them as well?
He'll sign the pick guard, yeah. So it doesn't have the pick guard on it.
Yeah.
So actually, Jimmy's not able to make the Atlantic City tournament this year because he's got like a procedure schedule.
Yeah.
Everything's fine, but it's just coinciding with that week, and that's actually his birthday week too.
Oh, yeah.
So I sent the pick guard to his house, and he's signed it. He's going to send it back to me. Yeah, so.
Dang, that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. But I got to tell you, I mean, you know him?
Jimmy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like one of the nicest guys you could ever meet.
I told you, I met him at Finn's weekend, and he was just like, wait, you're the running back for the Dolphins. Like, he knew, like, who I was, and he was like, you just broke the record. Man, nice to meet you, man. He just gave me, like, the biggest hug. His wife gave me a big hug. She's like, all right, Jimmy, we got to go. And he just wanted to chat the whole time with me. I was like, man, this is pretty cool. Like, I'm talking to a legend right now.
Yeah,
like,
right?
The Cowboy. And then I even brought it up. I was like, congratulations, by the way, on being in the Ring of Honor.
That was a big deal.
It was a big deal.
Yeah.
It was huge.
Yeah. It took especially for them to finally amend that.
Yeah,
that was a good thing.
You could tell Jerry was, like, kind of still on edge about it.
Right.
But, like,
you think so?
I thought so.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, you got to throw that out the window. You whatever y'all had, what kind of beef y'all had before, like, he deserves it, man. That guy's special.
Hey, they're both like legendary champions.
They are.
Right?
They are.
At a certain point, you got to realize, like, all right, we got to get above all this.
Yeah.
And it's water under the bridge.
Yeah.
So.
But I'm happy for Jimmy. I told him.
Me too.
I told him that too, and he was just like, "Thank you, Raheem. That means a lot, man." So I was like, "It means a lot. You're talking to me right now." Like,
yeah. So Jimmy's been on the show like 4 times, something like that. Yeah. So it's always kind of cool.
Oh yeah, that's dope. Yeah. So. I would love to grab a drink with him one time, man.
Yeah.
If he's drinking or anything like that.
No, he'll have one. He'll have a Papa's Pilar every now and then.
Yeah. I got a drink with him one time.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let me officially kick this off here, right? So no, we're good. This is how we roll, man. So this is the Connected by Water podcast, fueled by our very good friends at Papa's Pilar Rum, who remind us never to be a spectator. Papa's Pilar sources its rum like Hemingway sources adventures, with an appetite for greatness. Right? So let's cheers to that, right? So cheers.
Cheers, yeah.
All right, there you go. All right.
Cheers.
So we are Waypoint hosted podcast. You can find us there. We're also watch, listen, and do not forget to subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So if you're watching on YouTube, that little button, press it. And if you're listening in your truck or whatever, just kind of hit your phone and subscribe on Spotify or Apple, and just do that thing for us, please. Smash those like and subscribe buttons. So before we introduce today's guest, we need to and would like to announce this week's Starbright Solutions Project C Safe do-gooders. And our do-gooders are just our stewards in any area throughout Florida that they pick up trash, or they do good for the environment and like keep our waterways clean. So this week's are 2 young ladies, Berkeley and Annabelle from Merritt Island, kind of close to where you're from.
Very close.
Right? They cleaned up so much trash on their beach day. They collected, listen to this, 30 pairs of glasses, 40 pairs of goggles, tons of bracelets, an Apple Watch, right? Money, hair clips, and a whole bunch more. So they went above and beyond, and they deserve to be the winners this week for sure. So their parents are Julia Green and Cynthia Kramer from Merritt Island, and they deserve credit as well for raising such conservational stewards of our environment. So congrats to this week's do-gooders, right? So remember, if you want to nominate a do-gooder in your area, just message us on Instagram or message Corey Redwine at SEA Redwine on Instagram, and they could win a very special Starbright Solutions prize pack worth over $200. And as always, thank you to our sponsors, Papa's Pilar Rum, Starbright, and Olukai for their great support of our show. All right. Without further ado, listen, it's an absolute honor to have you here. Really, really, I mean that. Like, I'm so stoked. Like, this is the coolest thing. So, you led the NFL in TDs last year, right? And you made it to the Pro Bowl, which is so deserving and so cool. Raheem Mostert, thank you very much, man.
Yeah, I appreciate
for
you
coming on the show today.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you having me. I think that this is truly an honor in itself to be on the podcast, be a part of what you got going on. This is, this right here, man, is just being in this whole space. Like, you seeing all these pictures, you seeing what you do, how you have the vibes, man. Honestly, it's just it's nice to be here, and it's welcoming too.
Nice.
And
that means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I like walking into spaces that you feel at home and feel at ease, and I feel like being around the pictures, being around this office and this area, and especially close to the beach, seeing the fishing poles and the surfboard. I'm all about water, so
right.
I'm all about the connection. So.
Dude, that's why the main reason why I wanted to have you in here. Like, I'll get into all that, man, but like instantly, like, I don't know. You took me as like, I mean, this dude's pretty interesting. I want to get to know that guy. Seems pretty cool.
Yeah, so. I mean, I got a lot of interesting things, but honestly, I tell people all the time, I grew up on the beach. I'm from New Smyrna Beach, 15 minutes south of Daytona. It's known as the shark bite capital of the world. Mm-hmm. I could have went pro in surfing. Decided to chase my passion, which is football. Always been football. And I tell people all the time, I'm just a beach bum by heart.
Right.
Like, I'm so chill, even kill. And I just rock with the waves, and I don't let my highs get too high, my lows get too low. I'm always at that copacetic, level where I just vibe with everybody, and I just want everybody to be good, do good, and have great benefits on what they can achieve in life. So
I freaking love it.
Yeah, man.
That's great, man. That's awesome. Listen, I really want to start this off by talking about the hottest thing that happened recently in town, and you were like there for all of it, right?
Yeah.
So I went to game 1 and I went to game 2, and I had to tap out after that because I was like completely tapping. But you were like on it, like the golden rat and everything. So congratulations, Florida Panthers, on their Stanley Cup.
Florida Panthers, congratulations to them, man. They held it down this year. It's a long time coming, right? Yeah. Since the last time they had a chance to win the Stanley Cup last year. And then they figured it out this year. Paul Maurice, and the whole gang, everybody, they did their thing this year. So it was the parade was amazing this past weekend, this Sunday.
Yeah, you were right in the middle of that. Like, so I didn't realize that they were going to put you in a truck. They did. That's cool.
So I know Bryce and everybody over there, right? And they hit me up and they're like, hey, I didn't go to Game 7. I was in LA for NFL. Branding and networking gather at the NFL headquarters.
Okay.
Close next to SoFi. And so I was doing that. You always got to think about life after football, and I'm just trying to build myself up in that aspect. Trying to be a businessman and everything like that. So I missed Game 7.
Well, you tell me you're gonna be starting running back for the next 15 years for the Miami Dolphins,
next
right?
15,
Come on, let's go.
That's my plan.
That's my plan too.
Everybody asks me, when's the expiration date for me? And I'm like, look, I can't give you an expiration date. As long as these wheels are rolling, that's all that matters.
If you look like you're just getting started to me. That's it.
Yeah, it's a blessing because early on in my career, I didn't get any looks, right? I wasn't getting any running back action. Right. Everything was special teams, but then I was also I was getting injured quite a bit, some nicks and tweaks here that just put me out the rest of the season. There was a couple seasons where I could have been in Pro Bowl just strictly off special teams, but because, you don't finish the season, you kind of get null and voided in the voting process. I led the league in tackles one year, and then all of a sudden, they're like, hey, you didn't finish the season. I only had 2 games left. They're like, you didn't finish the season, so you can't be a Pro Bowler. And I'm like,
that's crazy.
Yeah, so.
It seems like, throughout your career, it's kind of been how do I just put this? These moments arise, and then
Yeah.
And then someone just like comes and like stomps you out for like no reason.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man.
Yeah. No,
Like-
it was like that for quite some time, especially in San Francisco. I wasn't necessarily getting looked at the running back position. Like I said, I had a better relationship with the special teams coach because I felt like that was my ticket to being on the field.
Right.
I'm not like some of these other guys that just strictly focus on their position. Like,
well, you were a wide receiver in college, right?
Yeah, I was a receiver, but I converted because I wasn't getting looked at receiver, and we had a new coach the end of my sophomore year.
Okay.
Junior year coming in, and I went up to him, went into his office. I was like, "Hey, I got a better opportunity of playing running back than you looking at me at a receiver, because you having your recruits come in, and I see the writing on the wall, so I have a better shot at playing running back." And he was like, "Yeah, let's do it," but I didn't even play that much still.
Yeah.
The only reason why I had so many yards my senior year was because I made noise. And he couldn't turn down what I was doing my junior year in track.
You're so freaking fast.
Yeah,
man. I mean, that's like undeniable on the football field, right?
Yeah.
You just got to get to that second level and you're gone.
I'm gone. Nobody's catching me.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So I was a Big Ten championship in both indoor and outdoor on the track. Indoor, I ran the 60 and 200 and the 4x1 or the 4x4. And I was a champion in the 60 and the 200. And then outdoor, I was the 100 champ and the 200 champ, and placed second for our team in the 4x1.
Okay.
And I also did the 4x4. So going in
that's for
year,
the Big Ten?
Yeah, that was for the Big Ten. So I made it to nationals, which was indoor was for Albuquerque, New Mexico, and then outdoor was at Eugene, Oregon. And I made both of those, but I didn't do too well.
Is there a difference like for indoor, outdoor?
Yeah, there's a difference because indoor is more of like a bank track, so you're going up and then back down, whereas like, outdoor is just one flat, one flat track. And with a bank track, the track is smaller, but so say if you run the 200, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to run 2 laps around the track. Both bank up and down twice.
Right.
Whereas if the 200 outdoor, it's only one curve.
Yeah.
You really got to run. So
what do you feel more comfortable with?
200.
The
200 outdoor. Yeah. And 100 and 200 outdoor. Those are my specialties. Yeah. So I felt like I didn't win the national championship in both events because I was a little bit bigger than most of the track guys. I mean, the exception, you see like Usain Bolt, right? He's like 6'6". And he's like super tall. Torso's crazy, right? He has long legs, so he's able to win.
He runs 100 in like 4 steps, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like he can get there quick.
Yeah.
But for me, I felt like I was just too heavy. At the time I was running, I was like 196, and I'm running against guys that are like $160, if that.
They're gonna fly.
Exactly, they're gonna fly. They got fast times already, and plus they run a lot. Like, I have to still worry about football, right? I have to worry about spring,
right?
Whereas they don't. They just have to focus on their main.
They want you to keep the weight on.
They want me to keep the weight on. So yeah.
Wow. So have you ever like thought about like Olympics when you were younger?
Yeah. So actually, funny story. I was coming out for football. I came out undrafted, and I had basically a crossroad. Whether I wanted to go to the track world or continue playing football.
Right.
I got offered to run for Team USA in track, and then go to trials.
Really?
Yeah, and go to trials my senior year after I was done with my senior year. And when the draft hit, I remember I had a conversation with my wife. She was my girlfriend at the time, and we were sitting in our apartment. And I asked her. I said, "Hey, look, let's think about the 2 outcomes that this thing could play out. Right?
Mm-hmm.
We do track." Track, you have to find your own sponsorships. You have to basically work through the ranks, and you may get that big deal. You may get that big sponsorship, but even then, you still have to be in the top like 10 in the world.
You gotta be like Michael Phelps level kind of thing for that to really work out.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I have the mindset to do that. Like, I could get that done, but like, it's still a process. Like, I have to find a trainer. I have to get an agent.
Right.
To work with the trainer, and I have to, continue that ladder. Whereas football, I just had to sign an agent. I'm going in undrafted. Who knows how that plays out? The rest is history.
And there's a system that's navigatable, right?
Yeah, you can navigate. Like if you get cut by a team, then you have the chance of joining somebody else's practice squad, or they could pick you up off a practice squad, sign you to their 53-man roster, and then you can make an impact that way. And so I was at that crossroad, and I was like, look, the amount of money that I can make, and the longevity of my career is based solely on my mindset. Like if I have a mindset, okay, look, it's not even about the money, but I could play in the NFL and I can make it, I'm going to take that way, because I've played football all my life. Track, I really started my junior year in high school. Like I wasn't really running track. Like there's AAU track, right? All these different leagues and stuff, like USA and, Junior Olympics and all that. I didn't even try out for all that stuff. So I don't even, there's people that are going to be running in the track world that make the Olympics solely because they've done like Junior Olympics and everything like that, AAU track. And they have one up on me already. Whereas football, I've been playing football since I was like 6 or 7.
Right.
So I know exactly how to work. I know what it takes to get to the highest of levels, but it's just your belief. And I have the belief in myself that I can get this thing done. So I chose football.
All the guys to me, like growing up and whatever, that football players that ran track, to me, I always just took that as you're just keeping your legs fresh in the off season.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what I always saw it as.
Yeah.
Right? I never really considered like a football player choosing track over football. You know what I mean? Because obviously you're going to want to go that route, I think, for all the reasons I think you just said.
Yeah.
For the most part. So.
Yeah. And it's always good conditioning too. Like, I like the mechanics of track so much that I still practice those things today. Like everything that I do, I still have.
You can tell you're a track guy when you break out.
Yeah.
When you get through the, like, just the way you run.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if this is a criticism or observation or whatever like that. Obviously, I'm not like on the level to be able to do so. But first, from what I gather, when I see you run, you look different than other running backs.
Yeah.
Like just like your running style, and like the way you run, like you're just. I don't know, man. You're just different.
Yeah, no.
And I like it, though.
It's funny because, like, growing up, people always said, like, I look slow, like, on tape. But
until
like,
all those other guys start falling
they're all
off.
behind me, right? I'm, like, blowing past everybody.
Right.
But they're like, okay, you look slow, but in actuality, like, you're gaining so much ground. And like, my stride is so long. Like, I have, like, I do really have, like, for me to get from, like, within 5 yards, I take a step and a half,
right?
Like, and it's crazy because like I look at the film and I'm like, damn, I'm slow. Like this, how am I moving this fast right now? Like it looks so slow, and I'm like embarrassed. Like when my coach is like, Raheem, are you even running? Hell yeah, I'm running.
Really?
Like I'm running right now.
Because maybe your form is probably just so disciplined.
Yeah, my form is. Yeah, I'm just stuck in that habit. Like, I don't know what it is, but it's smooth though.
That's cool. Let me switch gears on you real quick, right?
Yeah.
First of all, one question I want to ask you. I've been dying to ask you. I even took a picture of my TV, right? Because I actually wasn't able to make the parade. Like, oddly enough, I'm like, I feel like so like withdrawals, the fact that I wasn't actually there. Like, but there's a reason I had to stay home. But I took a picture of you holding that cup.
Yeah.
How'd that feel? Was that cool?
Nah, that was pretty dope.
Like in front of everybody like that on stage? So it was like Carter Verhage with you?
Yeah,
next to you?
Yeah. No,
I think
it was definitely dope. And you don't realize how like long it is, right?
Yeah.
It's like really long, and like when you try to host it up, like it's like, oh snap! Like when you bring it
heavy,
up, it's
huh?
like it's a little heavy.
Yeah.
I think they said it's like 30-something pounds, but I mean, bringing like something that wide up, and it's like, whoa, like here we go. But I feel like I made a mistake though.
What do you mean?
I'm hoping I didn't, man. I'm gonna tell you why. That's a trophy for a champion, right?
Right.
And I just feel like I didn't want to bring a curse. Like I feel like I don't want to bring a curse. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, man, it was a blessing to do that, right? Like,
right.
But also, I don't want to bring a curse to the football world.
No, see, listen, the way I see it is, I think you're just bringing like good vibes to the whole scenario, right?
Okay,
You're bringing good energy.
I'm gonna take that out of my mind now.
No, because listen, I'm telling you, come February, they're going to be calling South Florida Title Town.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Come on.
Yeah.
Listen.
No, I do believe
time is now, Raheem. The time is now.
Trust
right?
me.
This is our year.
Yes, it is. It is.
Come on.
I was telling the media, they asked me, they were like, hey, what do you think about like this upcoming year? And I flat out told them, I'm like, hey, we don't have any time left. Like, this is our time. This is our moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, the defense is the way they've been practicing like during OTAs.
Yeah, how is the defense looking?
Oh my gosh,
right?
It's nice.
Chop looking all right?
Yeah. Good. Chop's doing good.
I don't want to analyze. I don't want to say anything out of turn, but
no.
That's really. I think we're going to need them.
Honestly, it's very encouraging. I feel like what we're doing on offense. We got a whole bunch of playmakers.
Yeah.
It's tough when you see how many playmakers we have on the team because there's only one ball, right?
Right.
Like, everybody has to get a touch, and it is what it is. But I feel like we have that dynamic like we did last year. But the only thing that was killing us was our injuries. Like our injuries.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, dude. Like I kind of had like on like one of my line items here. I was like, I want to talk to you about that. Like, it seemed kind of really, really weird, and I don't want to blame it on this, but the timing of the Hard Knocks just seemed like so hard. Like, did that affect you guys at all?
It didn't affect
Not
us
at all, right?
Yeah, because the thing is with Hard Knocks, what the beautiful thing about it is,
it just seemed like a weird time of year to bring that in, though.
Yeah,
especially when we were humming.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. But honestly,
I say we.
Yeah,
you were humming.
But honestly, though, I felt like we were still good. I mean, we came back from that Germany trip. Yeah, that's when they had all the cameras set up. You know, they set everything up in the facility, and yeah, we came back and I feel like we were still floating just because we took the L against the
injuries
Chiefs.
Were too much, man.
The injuries were crazy.
Like we lost Jalen popping his Achilles like that was tough.
That was really tough. Like. Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah,
and then
I don't want to talk about injuries.
ACL, like
that was tough.
Yeah, that hurt. That those two guys alone just killed the momentum that we had on that defense, and then it was just causing problems.
And everyone was kind of dealing with a little something too. I think around then too.
So I mean, you got to stay healthy though, right? Like the Chiefs, they weren't doing anything at the beginning of the year,
right?
But they found a way at the end.
Yeah,
they stayed healthy.
I think that was the key with the Panthers too.
Yeah,
because if you look at last year, I mean, Chucky's playing with a cracked sternum in Game 4 of the Stanley Cup last year.
Yeah.
Brady had to dress him.
Yeah,
like his brother had to dress him before he went out to the game. I'm like, you kidding me?
Yeah.
Hockey players are a different breed.
They are.
I don't understand like whatever, but
they fight through. I mean, you see a guy get his 2 front teeth knocked out. He goes into the intermission and then come back and he's playing. It's like without two teeth. You're like, wait a minute, like this is a little different. Like this sport is a little different.
A little different.
Because I got my teeth knocked out in the game. In football, I don't know. I might come back.
You might have to take a break.
I might have to ease up a little bit. Give me like 3/4 and try to finish this thing out.
I made a phone call today, right, to the owner of Papa's Pilar Rum because I was like, his name's Steven Groff, right? And I was like, hey, I got someone coming on the show today that you're going to like.
Yeah.
Right? And he's like, who's that? I go, say, Raheem's coming on. He goes, get out, right?
Yeah.
Because he loves you. But primarily because, and for a lot of the reasons I do too, is because Steve's an old surfer guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he knows like your background and everything.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, cool. He's like, listen, he goes, do me a favor. He's give him a present for me, right? So Steve wanted me to give you this limited edition Papa's Pilar.
Oh, wow.
Right? The significance of it is every year they come out with a limited edition.
Yeah.
But this one is the Greg Knoll limited edition.
Okay.
Right? And so if you know Greg
Knoll,
in like 54, he like flew out to Hawaii. He was like the first guy to surf like Waimea, like over 30 plus, like even before the Hawaiians did it.
Yeah.
And he like was the first guy to like surf beyond the reef and at the pipe. All right. So they came out with this limited edition in honor of Greg Knoll this year. And he said, tell Raheem, he goes, that's a personal gift from the owner of Papa's Pilar to you.
Well, so, I appreciate that, man.
For sure.
That means a lot. Hey, I'm going to save this for when I retire. You know what my dream is?
What's
I'm gonna tell everybody my dream. Okay. My dream someday is when everything's said and done, football's over with, kids are in school, are out of school. I'm just gonna be on a beach side, just in my hammock, drinking some good rum.
Nice.
And just relaxing, just watching the waves crash, watching the sun go down. And I'm gonna open this. Gonna be the first thing I open.
Yeah, I like that.
When I'm done.
I like that. It's a good bottle. They gave me one to drink and one to keep and everything. Every year they do that.
Yeah, no, this isn't getting cracked open until I'm done.
I got my whole
everything.
shelf of like limiteds up there.
Oh yeah, okay.
So, yeah,
you got some good stuff over there.
Yeah, I do. I'm missing a couple. He said, "Oh, you
got the leather case too."
Yeah, that's from the leather one was from 22 and 21. That's when they started with the limiteds.
Nice.
Yeah, and then that's the rye whiskey over there.
Well,
too.
hey, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate this. This was definitely not going to be open until
that's a special
finished.
bottle. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So, I want to rewind a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously, I want to talk about your love and passion for the ocean and the water and everything. Like, this is connected by water. You know what I mean? I'm not Joe Rose, and so I'm not going to grill you all about like two-a-days and everything like that.
Yeah.
But growing up in New Smyrna, right? So, let me put it to you this way. So, I think it was like during COVID, I found an article about you, and this is before you came back to the Dolphins, right? Because your first stint with the Dolphins was kind of short-lived. Right?
Yeah.
And then you were with San Francisco at the time, but COVID, you're like reading everything on your phone and everything. And I read this whole story that SI wrote about you and your wife. And that's really when I first like really started taking notice about you, because it went into like a lot of your background with surfing and a lot of like your journey, right, and everything that you had to deal with and your perseverance and your story. And like I really gained a lot of respect for you after reading that article, right? And it was the coolest thing. But it talked about you growing up. It was like West Side and Beach Side up in there in New Smyrna, and how you would just find your sanctuary in Beachside. Talk to me a little bit about how that kind of started with you.
So growing up in New Smyrna, so let me back up. So
sure.
In New Smyrna, it's known as a beach town, right? It's known as, a place where a little bit older people would go for retirement, but also there'd be surfers and everything like that. And so
you could drive on the beach up there too, right?
Yeah, you could still drive. So it's only like one of the only places in the world, actually Volusia County, because Daytona still does it too, right?
Okay.
Where you could drive on the beach. Like down here, you can't. In South Florida, you can't drive on the beach. So it's one of the only spots you can drive. But so New Smyrna's original high school was closer to the beach.
Okay.
They had to knock it down because it was built on top of a sinkhole. And so they built a new high school closer to I-95. And when I was younger, I used to always go to the old high school, and there used to be like bowling alleys, and you could play billiards and stuff like that. I was really interested in all that stuff. But when they built the new high school, I was still passionate about going to the beach side. So that's pretty much how I started going towards the beach side. And on the west side of US 1, that's where, a lot of the hood areas would be. That's where I actually grew up. But whenever
was that the place that on Hard Knocks that you went back to?
Yeah, for that episode? So that was that episode with me and my little brother. We sat in the park. That was the same park. We used to play football all day, every day. Like
in the street.
In the street.
Yeah, that's how I grew up playing too. We used to play like different neighborhoods. We had like a league, like different neighborhoods would play like different neighborhoods.
Yeah. So that's how it was, kind of like that, but it wasn't like organized. So like we would.
Well, it wasn't organized. It was just
it was always like New Smyrna kids would drive over to Edgewater to play. The Edgewater kids. I mean, we would spank them all the time. Right? They would just
Edgewater sucks, don't they? I heard that.
Yeah. So I was like, But
I heard Edgewater sucks so bad. No, I was kidding.
But no, so it would always be competitive and stuff like that. But growing up on the west side of US 1, it was like you had to find your way way out. And sports. So for a lot of kids, that was the way out. But unfortunately, they didn't have the discipline to make it not only about sports. Like you have to also be educated. You have to know what you're doing in school. And most of my teammates that I, grew up with, the kids that I grew up with, they literally thought sports was just it. Like, I had my senior year, we had about like 15 guys not make the team on like a 50-man roster, and they were pretty much starters. They could have went D1.
Really?
Yeah.
And they didn't make the team?
They didn't make the team because we had a new head coach that was just like, if you don't have the right grades, you can't play.
Oh, wow.
And, he can't. It is
tried
what
to
it
do that
is.
Notre Dame thing, right?
Yeah. He was like, it is. He came from Notre Dame.
Really?
Yeah, he was like that Notre Dame mindset.
Freaking Irish.
Yeah. But, and so most of our starters we had like talent.
Right.
And they just couldn't do anything for them.
Yeah.
So they had to miss the football season. You had to make up grades, and some of them couldn't even make them up, and
yeah.
But they just didn't have the discipline in that area, and then they just ran off in the streets again. So, but I would go back to New Smyrna, and I was real cool. I was cool with everybody, like in my high school, it would be like the black kids would only hang out with the black kids. The surfers would only hang out with the surfers. The emos would hang out with the emos. Like, it was like divided. Like,
really?
Yeah, we'd had like rednecks would hang out with the rednecks. Like, country, like, it was all divided. But like, I found my way with each and every group. Like, I was that kid. Like,
I was kind of like that in high school too, where I bounced around with all
the different groups. I was all about like the nerdy kids. I was always trying to figure out like what the hell they were doing in school so they can get good grades. Oh, well, you had to go talk to Miss So and So, and she give you an A+ if you're just nice to her. Like, I'm bring her cupcakes or something like that. You know what I mean? So like, I was always doing that type of stuff. But I felt like I was just a people person more so. So my biggest thing was, I'm going to hang out with the surfers too, because those guys are like, man, they're so relaxed and chill. Like, they don't have a care in the world. They're not stressed. I mean, these dudes are out in the surf, like surfing with sharks. Like, I had a friend that literally got bit by a shark on his foot. Like, his foot got bit like by a shark, and he's in the hospital throwing it up like, hey, look at me, like, I got stitches in my foot.
We just did a shark attack episode. Was 2 episods ago.
Yeah.
A good friend of ours that visits the studio a lot in the fishing world is like kind of like a famous guy, Rufus Wakeman. His son Marlon's 24 years old, and he's a professional mate now, but he's just kind of like making his way. And he was in Long Island, Bahamas. They when they fillet the fish, they throw the carcass in the water.
He was the kid that got bit?
Yeah.
Really?
We had him
I heard about that.
Yeah, you got to go back and watch that episode. It's really, really. I think
I got to check it out. Yeah.
So we had them both in here.
Did he jump in the water?
No, he slipped on the covering board of the sport fish he was working on.
Okay.
And they're just like, you could almost walk on top of the sharks there.
Yeah.
Like, so they're thick as thieves.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I remember, I go to Bahamas a lot, and we were at Harbor Island. Harbor Island, there's like a same thing where you can fillet the fish after you catch it and toss the extra little pieces out.
They got to stop doing
little sharks are swimming around and everything.
Yeah, they got to not allow that anymore. I don't know, but the Bahamas, they can't kill sharks, can't do anything like that, and but they need to at least regulate that. It's not safe.
Yeah. So
sorry, man, I cut you off. You're talking about your friend that got bit.
Yeah. So my friend Troy Zettel, I'll never forget. He got bit by a shark, and he's throwing up the haka, like hanging out and everything like that, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, I got bit by a shark, but I'm gonna be out there surfing again. Dude was out there like not even like the stitches were still in his foot, and he's out there surfing still.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, this is different. Like, but you guys are different because
it's different.
If y'all are surfing with the sharks, like, y'all got a different bone in your body. And I was like, well, I'm gonna go out there.
That
surfing.
made you want to paddle out.
I was like, hey, look, if they can do it, I can do it. If I
How old were you when you first started surfing?
I was like 13, 14.
Okay.
Yeah. I got offered by Billabong at the age of 14 to surf.
Really?
Yeah. And I was also a skateboarder too.
Okay.
Yeah. I did street skateboarding. And I was big into that. Started getting into ramp a little bit.
Yeah.
But I was just like the ramp style and being in the bowl, that's not me. I don't like drop-ins all that much.
Yeah.
Dropping
in is different.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But I figured there's a difference between the drop-in and the like a bowl versus a drop-in on the wave, right? It's like
Right.
You could do that in the surf. You can do that as many times, and maybe you'll hit the sandbar.
Yeah, you don't get your face grinded either.
Yeah, you'll get your face grinded. Like, there's the possibility is very low. So and I was like, I like surfing more. So I was doing surfing with street skateboarding.
So you were just passionate for it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, going back to the shark stuff. Yeah, I would see what they were doing, and I'm like, it is what it is. If I get bit, so what? I'm with all the vibes too, and fortunately, I didn't knock on wood. I didn't get bit by a shark, but I did encounter 2 shark encounters before.
Really?
Yeah. So one morning, it was me, Karam Ramadan, Troy Zettel, who got bit. And we were all just hanging out on the board. It was like 6:30, 7 o'clock. That's when the surf is really good in the morning. It's not too hot, right? It's perfect timing. And so we were just sitting out on the board, and literally from me to you, like the end of my board, I see a fin just go right across my vision, and I'm just like, oh shit! Like,
did that freeze you?
Yeah, I was stuck. Yeah, I was like, oh. I look at my buddies. They were like, Raheem, whatever you do, don't freak out.
Right.
If you freak out, they're gonna think you're food, and then they're gonna attack you. All I did was just put my feet on the board, and I was just like, okay, just child pose the whole time. Like, all right, I'm
child
waiting.
Pose.
Yeah, I was like, all right, well, it's time for me to get out this water.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just definitely got out the water. Them boys kept surfing. I'm like, yeah, y'all could do that. So it's crazy, man.
So you still surfing today?
Yeah, a little bit. Actually, I surfed when I was in Hawaii. Tua invited me to come to Hawaii for his charity event. He had a golf tournament, and then he had a football camp. And so me and the family, I just decided it was going to be a little vacation, brought the whole family out to Hawaii. Yeah, it was smooth. So
I'm sure they loved that.
Yeah, kids loved it. We would go on the beach at like 7:30, 8 o'clock, right before it, like, all the spots on the beach were taken up. And playing our tent and everything like that, and playing our goodies, and then go out into the water. And one morning I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just go out there and surf. And I went to one of the little rental spots right on the beach, grabbed a longboard and headed out there and caught a couple waves. It felt so good though.
Nice.
It felt really good.
You like surfing Hawaii?
Oh yeah, it was my second time doing it.
The waves feel different out there?
Yeah.
Like I had like the Pacific waves. I want to talk to you about this because I surfed San Fran before.
Oh yeah.
Because my buddy, a real good friend of mine, was a guy I played football in high school with too, Larry Choker. He was stationed in Alameda.
Yeah.
Right. They lived in Alameda, but
yeah.
it's Urbe Buena Island.
Yeah.
The island in the Bay Bridge.
Yeah.
That little island in the middle. And I got to go to the whole Coast Guard base and everything. But he was stationed there for 4 years. He was like a 4-year term, whatever.
Yeah.
So he's like, dude, you got to come out here. So every year I would fly out to San Fran for like 4 years straight. And we would hang out there, we'd surf, and then we would drive to Tahoe. And then, because there's a Coast Guard base on the lake, in Lake Tahoe, because Lake Tahoe is huge.
Yeah.
Right? Have you been there?
Oh, Lake Tahoe?
Freaking awesome.
It's amazing.
Love that place.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So, yeah, we would just snowboard all week. And we'd stay in the Coast Guard barracks like $15 a night.
Oh, that's
awesome.
awesome.
I feel like four years in a row. Right? And, but I got to surf the bridge.
Yeah.
Right? You know that little spot underneath the Golden Gate Bridge?
Yep.
And surf PB.
Yeah.
Right? And we went down the Half Moon, but obviously Half Moon's big. So
yeah, Half Moon's that's where they have Maverick, right?
Yeah,
Maverick. I heard that was just a monster. Yeah.
I mean, did you do much surfing out there at all? Or
no, I didn't.
You
honestly,
didn't?
No, because I'm okay. There's
the one thing I noticed was like the waves there are like a lot heavier.
Yeah, they're
than they are here.
They're heavier. It's my only fear is great whites. I'm not messing with the great whites.
I was thinking about that the entire time I was out there. It was a weird feeling.
Yeah. Like I can handle the sharks in New Smyrna. Like I can
the little ones.
The little ones, you get they nibble on you here and there. They think you're like fish or whatever. But great white, that's a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
Like that's like, I remember there was this kid, Santa Cruz.
Yeah,
that's where
there's a lot of sharks in Santa Cruz.
It's a lot of sharks, but the waves are great. Like I was watching surfers. We would drive down there in Santa Cruz from San Jose, and it'd be like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hour drive. And we would go down there. We'd watch surf competitions, hang out on the beach and stuff like that. I'm never getting in that water though. That's one place.
All the kelp too.
Kelp
that they have in the water there.
Yeah,
So,
the reefs underneath is just crazy too. So
yeah.
But I remember there was a kid. He was about, well, he wasn't a kid. He was like 23, 24.
Okay.
He made surfboards.
Right.
And he had a family, and he lost his life because he got eaten by a great white.
Ugh.
Yeah, and we were like maybe a day out from the day the accident happened, and I just felt like it was just like a calling, like.
Yeah, I think after hearing that news, I wouldn't get in the water.
Yeah, I'm
either.
like, man, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was, and they said he was a great dude, community guy, made surfboards, all this other stuff, and putting food on his family's plate. And
That's
I
a
was
shame,
just like,
man.
wow, yeah. But, I hear about those stories. I'm like, okay, nope, I'm not a part of that.
We talk about on the show, we talk about all the time about the shark situation now.
Oh, yeah.
It's getting a lot worse.
Like down here in South Florida, there's some
There's
stuff
reasons
going on.
why we've analyzed it on the show, like, till we're blue in the face, like, with, there's new laws that got lifted and regulations and, like, longliner regulations and, there's always an argument for, like, conservationists versus environmentalists.
Yeah.
And everyone's talking about shark finning and what's the real truth behind it and all that. And like a lot of things, like, there's perception and there's reality.
Right.
And the truth is they started changing all these laws. They didn't talk to any of the captains. They didn't talk to any of the people that are out there on a daily basis.
That actually know.
And now, like, the shark situation is so bad.
Yeah.
Like, you can't get in the water.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's bites or catches are getting bitten in half. It's like a bad situation.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we're trying to change and help, and trying to change the regulations and see what we can do. But
yeah,
it's tough, man, when Congress gets involved and they change the big laws and stuff like that, because they kind of cower to the environmentalists a little bit.
Right.
Is probably the safest way I can say that.
Yeah.
But is what it is. But we're trying to get it rectified.
That's interesting, man. I didn't even know things like that. Even I didn't know that there was rules and regulations that were being changed and everything like that. That that's the reason why you see all these different attacks and everything, because it wasn't there like migration of like great whites in the Gulf like recently.
Yeah, there were, and then there's some attacks happening up in Panama City, and there's always attacks in Smyrna.
Yeah,
I mean, there's more attacks there than, like, that's the reason why they call it shark capital.
Yeah.
But here too, like, the Jupiter is getting pretty bad, and it's really kind of making their way down.
Yeah,
because the problem that we balance is that worldwide, like, I don't know if it's migratory or cyclical or whatever, but there doesn't seem to be as many sharks in different places. But in Florida, we don't have that issue at all.
Right.
Like, there's like too many of them.
Right.
And then they changed all the laws here. Like, well, why did you change the laws here?
Yeah.
You didn't need to. Change the laws in other places where there aren't a lot of sharks, no problem. But here, you change the laws, and now we're like inundated.
Yeah.
And it's pretty tough.
Yeah, that's crazy. Did you also see about the dolphins that were stuck in Connecticut, I believe?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, there was like a group of like 30 dolphins that got stuck in Connecticut.
Really?
Yeah, and like 10 of them
couldn't get their flight out?
Yeah, they couldn't. I don't know that. I don't know. Yeah, they were up there in Connecticut, and they got stuck in like shallow water, and they had to rescue like 20 dolphins, and 10 of them didn't make it.
No, I didn't see that
they had
at all.
to put one down. Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
No, that sucks.
Yeah. I'm like, things are changing around here.
Things are changing.
Yeah.
Things are changing, but listen. I mean, I think the important takeaway from that stuff is that you got situations where the people are complaining, oh, there's too many sharks, and the scientists will go out and they're like, oh, we didn't see any sharks at all. It's like, yeah, it's because you're fishing in like 600 foot of water.
Right.
We're catching them in 200 foot of water.
Right.
You're in the wrong spot.
Right.
You got to be fishing with us, or you got to fish in the area we're at.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And well, you're just fishermen. You don't know what you're talking about. You're not following the science. It's like, I'm not following the science, but I do this every day. I'm out in the water every day, and I know what I see.
Yeah.
And that's basically the argument.
Yeah. It's tough.
Yeah, it is tough. So I want to talk a little bit about, with you, what was it like balancing, like, your surf life with your football life?
Yeah.
Was that hard? Like, did you surf enough to, like, really, like, have that be that mess with your mind a little bit? It's like, I want to be surfing and I have to be at football practice?
No, I felt like surfing was more of a hobby. It was more of like, just enjoying it, You know,
All right.
like same thing for you, right? You enjoy like painting pictures and you know, art and stuff like that. Like you really enjoy that. You get the grasp of what it feels like. You know, for me, that's what it was like. Just being out there in the ocean. Like I felt like that was just my calm and my peace and getting away from the BS that I was dealing with.
So it helped, like the ocean.
Oh
really
yeah,
kind of helped you
I mean,
out.
think about it when you're thinking about the ocean, it's like very therapeutic. I mean, at least for me, that's what I think. That's why I told you my retirement plan. Like,
Right.
I feel like that's like the settling moment. Like it's therapeutic for me. Just closing your eyes, hearing the waves crash. Like, I mean, even if it's just the water sound, like you know, that just is just something about it. You know, it's just soothing. And you know, when I was going through some hard times and hardships, I would always find myself, you know, riding my skateboard or sometimes even walking or biking to the beach and just, you know, just getting away, just feeling like I was on that edge of the cliff that, you know, you just hear the waves crash against the edge. And like, you know, if you were out in California, you know, in that picturesque moment, that I felt like that was it. That was my calling. So, and being in the water and surfing, you know, I boogie boarded too, right? I did bodyboarding, boogie board, skimboard. I was doing all that stuff.
Yeah, we used to make our own skimboards, like growing up, like cut them out of plywood.
Yeah. So I was doing all that stuff, and I was also best friends with pro surfers. So it was just fun. It was just
Nice.
It was a hobby that I just really enjoy. I still enjoy this day.
Yeah, I think people need to listen to that too. I mean, I think the kids growing up need to do things more for fun.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like, especially like, I see like, especially like in baseball,
Yeah.
like see the way like a lot of these kids are so scientific about their approach to the game, and like their parents are like, I was listening to Troy Stratford, I think it was, like listening to him on the radio one time, and someone called in and said, hey, when should I really, take my kids seriously or have them do this or that or put them in this training program?
Yeah.
And he's like, not until high school.
Yeah.
He's like, just let them have fun. Like,
Yeah.
let them enjoy the game. Like, why are you going to make the kid hate the game and make it turn into like a job?
Right.
It's just like, let him play the sport. And if he gets into high school and he shows promise and you want to get him like hire someone to give him some extra work or some training or something, like yeah, go for it. But don't worry about it till high school. I don't know, man.
Yeah, no, and I could definitely relate to that because like me being who I am, right, and the age I started playing football, I was 6, and right now my oldest son is 5, and I'm not getting him in football right now. Like he likes playing sports. He likes having fun. He wants to be outside all the time. Like he asked me, hey, Daddy, can I go outside and ride my scooter? I'm like, yeah, I mean, come on, let's do that.
Right.
I'm not going to push him to do these things when, my wife she says it all the time. She's like, why be in a rush to put our kids in so many activities? Like they're going to be in sports. We already know that's a given. Like,
right.
Why are we going to put them in sports so young and force them to do things? And hopefully they have an understanding of it. But like, why are we going to force them to do that? Look, we're going to be, if they want to play baseball, there's going to be so many tournaments that they're going to be a part of. I have 3 boys. So like, I'm going to be,
right, 3 boys.
I got 3 boys.
You got your hands full.
So we're not in a rush anytime soon to put them in stuff, but I do want to get them in golf though. I feel like,
that's the thing.
That right?
Yeah.
Like put them in some golf.
That's a smart
right?
move.
You know what I mean? So
I do know what you mean. 100%.
I bought 2 sets of like
that's the life right there.
Yeah,
right?
I bought 2 sets of like small. I stay on a golf course in Parkland Golf and Country.
Okay.
So I stay there. I'm right on the golf course, and I bought the boys clubs, and man, I just put a little turf mat down and had them hit off the turf mat, and they just have fun.
Nice.
They love it. So I want to get them in that. Baseball too. I do, but I feel like golf is my oldest son loves it.
Does he? That's good.
Hell yeah.
Keep going with that.
Yeah. He's like, Daddy, can we go out and like chipping? I'm like, how do you know about chipping?
Yeah.
What? Chipping? Can you spell chipping yet?
Well, you
like,
guys live on a nice course too. Like, take advantage of that.
So that's what I'm doing. And like, people see my kids out there just having fun. And like, I go like to the range. Like, so there's a range on the course, right?
Okay.
So I go on like the back end of the range, and that's where like all the chipping and putting area is, right? It's not the actual driving range. I do.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. I'm not good though.
No, that's cool. Neither am I.
Yeah. Don't ask me my handicap.
We should go play one day.
Don't ask me my handicap.
We'll get along great.
Yeah, exactly. when I'm able to have a few drinks, then yeah, we can definitely do that.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Look, you don't ever ask me what my score is, because I'm gonna tell you. Look, this is my score. How many balls did I lose in the front 9? Like that. That's all I care about. Yeah, did I lose a box? Did I lose a sleeve yet? If I lost a sleeve, then damn it, that's a good ass day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if I didn't, if I lost more than 5 balls, that's terrible. Right now, my record is 4.
Really?
Yeah, my record is 4.
All right.
For 18 though.
That's not that bad.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get back to that, but don't ask me my score, because I'm still not knowledgeable about that aspect.
All right.
Yeah, I'm still learning the game. Still learning.
Yeah.
But
it's my son's just like, so my son's hockey crazy. Right?
Okay, my son wants to be in it too.
Does he?
Oh yeah, after the Panthers.
Yeah, especially after the Cup, right? My kid always really liked hockey, but now after the Cup, he's like, Dad, I want to skate. So we've been taking him to the ice den.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because we're right down this. We're in Coral Springs.
Okay.
So we're right down the street from the ice den.
They do lessons there, don't they?
They do lessons. So I just signed him up for the lessons, take him out skating. Like, he picked it up like that. I'm like, all right, cool. I mean, my son's little like me, so but he wants to do it and have fun. So I'm like, all right, let's go, let's have fun. So he's learning how to skate. Wants me to sign him up for hockey, right? So we're doing it. We're doing the thing.
Oh yeah, I got to do that, because when I was talking to the Panthers organization, one of the ladies was telling me about how they hold lessons for kids and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I'm definitely getting my son in it.
Yeah, it's cool.
I feel like my sons are I hate to say this, but I feel like my sons are going to be like the fighter type hockey players, just because they beat up on each other all the time at the house. Like,
do they?
You should see my youngest son, Miles. He's only 2. He just turned 2 the beginning of June. And when I tell you, this kid is going to be a stud. Y'all just bear with me now. This kid he's getting beat on a lot at the house, and he's also dishing it out. Like, he's like,
that's good.
Yeah. I tell everybody, like, my kids are like the Watt brothers. You got JJ Watt, TJ Watt, and Derek Watt, right?
Right.
JJ is like my oldest son. That's like the knowledgeable one. He knows what to do. He seems like he's the perfect clean cut kid. Like, my kid picks his own outfits early in the morning. Like, he's that kid. Then you got Derek Watt. He's like the same thing as Nico, my middle son. He's a little different. You don't know which direction you're gonna go with him.
Right.
He could be a badass, or he can be the nicest and sweetest kid ever. And then you got TJ Watt, the one that's pretty much the most dominant out of all 3. Yeah, that's Miles. That's my youngest son. Yeah, so I compared him to the Watt brother. Yeah, he's gonna be it. I mean, all of them are, though. I feel like they all are unique in their own way. Yeah,
you can kind of tell he's kind of built different.
Yeah, he's built different because he's always dishing them out. He's always picking on both the boys. Yeah, he doesn't care. But then he's also sweet, nice, and I don't know. He's different.
Let me ask you a question, right? Don't mind if I get too personal, but your journey throughout all this, like, there's been, like, I'm talking like after college, like professional, like, there's been some times where it's been tough for you guys, right? And I know you've had, I've never met Devin, but she sounds incredible. Yeah, like, she sounds like she's really been a rock for you. Yeah, right. Which is great. We all need that. Yeah, right? And it's a really, really important. And there had to have been times where you just, man, and then to see you have the year that you had last year, even the good years in San Francisco. Yeah. Right? But when Mike brought you here, I'm assuming Mike brought you here. Yeah. Right? Yeah. When Mike brought you over here, and if you have a Pro Bowl season, like, you had, like, fucking every week, you're like, Raheem touchdown, 1,000-yard season, and you made the Pro Bowl. I mean, you don't take me as a spiteful person. Yeah. Right? You just don't take me as that, right? But that's got to feel good. Like, almost like rub that in the faces of people that doubted you along the way, because I heard that whole story. I used to keep a list, right, of people that, like, cut you. Yeah. And now you're the man. Yeah. No, right? How does that feel? No, honestly, it's and people don't even ask me that, so Am I out of turn for asking you that? No, not at all. Okay. No, not at all. First and foremost, I'd say, like, my wife has definitely been a true inspiration.
she grew up the way she grew up. Her parents are just so loving and caring, and that's something that I didn't have growing up, right?
Okay.
And so I witnessed what a true family was, and that's pretty much the reason why I am who I am, just because growing up I didn't have like the ideal family, right? It was me and my siblings, and we were close knit at one point. Then things happened where, I realized like this is not me being who I am. Like I wanted better always, like better family, better situation. I want to be able to grow and learn and be an individual that I can truly look back in the mirror and be like, you know what, you did your thing. Like you had to sacrifice, right? So that's part of the reason why I went to Purdue, to get away from all the BS down in Florida, to go into a whole different state. I mean, come on, like if you're from Florida, your first instinct is not to go to Midwest Indiana. And
so I mean, exactly. I mean,
cold, right?
You had to have been offered from some Florida schools.
Yeah,
right?
I was offered the U.
Okay.
I was a big Hurricane fan, and they actually offered me on signing day, and I was just like, I turned my letter of intent in to Purdue already. I committed to them. They showed interest in me from the very jump. And
it's kind of like Dalvin Cook was from down here, and Miami wanted him bad, but he went to Florida State because he's like, I need to get out of here.
Yeah, so that was the reason why I went to Purdue, and I wanted a good education. But I felt like in doing so, that was the reason why I wanted to. Like I always grew up like, okay, I want a beautiful family, I want a beautiful wife, I want beautiful children where I could raise and teach them how to be. If I do have sons, and I'm fortunate enough to have sons, how to be a man, how to go about business, how to, treat people with respect, how to, not take crap from anybody that, push your buttons, and, everything that comes with being a true father and a true figure, right?
Help a God along the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and that's the reason why I set those goals early on when I was young, and it just seems like I just been, making my way to those goals. And even in the NFL, I was getting cut so many different times. My first 2 years I was cut by 6 teams, because I was with the Niners.
Or getting injured.
I mean,
and like on the good years, it seemed like you're having, then you would like get cut down by. That's what I meant before, like getting stomped on. So like these circumstances that kept like.
So my life,
but you pushed through it, though, man.
And it's been like my life has always been that way, but like I still find a way to move 2 steps forward. Right. I'm always forward thinking, always forward driven. If I'm in a sticky situation, I was one of those kids, like if I'm in a sticky situation, if I'm hanging around a wrong crowd, I know how to navigate past them. Like I know how to get away and separate myself. And you can call me, a dweeb, a jerk, you can call me all kinds. It's not gonna. My mind is made up. Like if I'm cutting you off, I'm cutting you off. I got to move on. I got to figure out what's the next step. What's the next point of emphasis for my life? Because if I hang around you, if I hang around, those bad people, eventually you are who you keep around you, right?
Right. What did they say, like the average of 5 people or something like that?
Yeah.
You take the 5 people you hang around with most, and you're the average of that?
You're the average of that.
Yeah.
And I felt like that's just not me. I want to be above average. I want to be, and it's not nothing against, people in general, but good people when you're around.
Yes.
And that their intentions are well. They mean well. Like, so that's who I want to be. I want to be somebody that, if you ask me for a favor, I'm gonna deliver. If you ask me, hey, show up here at 7:00, and I'm gonna call it like I did today. I called you. I was like, hey, I just dropped the kids off. And it was it was like 6:30 at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, my GPS, I'm gonna be there at 7:15. I'm gonna be a little late, but I'm giving you a heads up now, so that way, I don't want you to be mad at me or anything. Like you're like, wait, I thought you were calling me to cancel.
Yeah,
I'm like, no, I'm not canceling.
I saw your number pop up on the phone. It was like half an hour before the show. I'm like, oh crap. Man.
No, I was
this is done.
You were like, no, I thought you were canceled. I was like, bro, no, I'm not canceling on you, man. No, I told you I'm gonna come. I'm coming. So. And it goes back to my life, right? That's the type of person I want to be. Like I want to be somebody that people can count on. And sometimes, for some reason something might happen where, I can't be counted on. I'm gonna tell you why, and I'm gonna give you an explanation, and it's gonna be true, and it's gonna be from the heart, because I feel like that's the most important thing for me. And yeah, that's
great.
When you say like persevering through things, I always told myself never burn a bridge,
right?
Because that same bridge can lead to something even more positive. And for me, that was the case when I got picked up undrafted by Chip Kelly. People were talking
Chip
about
liked you.
Chip loved me.
Yeah.
And I was literally the last cut. I could have been in that office. I could have been like, Chip, you're making the wrong mistake. Like I'm better than this guy that you want to sign. Like, and you know it. I know it. Everybody in this damn organization knows it. I could have told him that. Like, and I was just like, you know what? I just shook his hand. I was like, I appreciate it, coach. And he was like, well, we're going to sign you to practice squad if you don't clear waivers, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I just took a deep breath after I shed a couple tears, and I was like, hey, look, all right, well, I got to do what I got to do.
Yeah.
Signed the practice squad, and then we had a Monday night game against Atlanta. We traveled to Atlanta. Funny story. This is crazy. This is crazy. So we traveled to Atlanta Monday night. Practice squad guys. Typically, a lot of teams, I didn't notice until like my latter years in the league that a lot of teams don't travel their practice squad guys. But like Chip Kelly and what he believed in, he was like, hey, look, I want to make sure everybody feels like they're on the team. So practice squad guys are going to travel with the team as well. So
that's cool.
Yeah, I travel with the team to Atlanta, not thinking of it. I'm a rookie, right?
What year is this?
This is 2015.
15.
Yeah, when I came out.
Oh, it's with the Eagles.
This was with the Eagles.
Okay.
So I didn't make the team. I was signed to their practice squad. I traveled to Atlanta for that first Monday night game of the season. And I'm sitting in the hotel room. It's game day, right? And because we have a later start, or the game's later, it's like 8 o'clock or whatever, we have like pretty much the whole entire day to get ready for meetings and all that stuff. Well, the only thing that I had on me was my Eagles jumpsuit, a notebook, and a backpack, and like my toothbrush essentials, right? And I get a call from my agent. He calls me. He's like, hey, where you at? I'm like, hey, I'm in the hotel about to get ready for these meetings. And he was like, don't go to meetings. I'm like, why? Like, you want me to get fired already? Like,
yeah.
I'm scared at this moment. I'm like, why? What are you talking about? Like, don't go to meetings. That's like, you want me to get fined? Like, no.
Yeah, they don't like that.
No, if you miss meetings, they're gonna fine you. Like, you get a first offense. But I'm like, I'm a rookie. I don't know any better. Like,
right.
So he's like, don't go to meetings. You just got picked up by the Dolphins. Because like during that practice squad, like if you're on practice squad, you can get poached at any moment. Like from any team.
Yeah, that's right.
So he calls me up. He's like, hey, the Dolphins call you. They just called me. They're signing you to their active roster. Leave. I need you to get in a taxi right now. This is when Uber wasn't around, like Uber or Lyft.
Is this Joe Philbin era?
Yeah, this is Joe Philbin.
Okay.
So funny story about that too. So I'm literally in the hotel room, and then I get a call from Chip. He's like, hey, Raheem, I just want to let you know, like, man, you did everything right, man. I'm so proud of you. Like, you were a tough decision when we let you go, but I'm happy that you got picked up by the Dolphins. And then I hung up the phone. I was like, well, I said, appreciate it, coach, and then hung up the phone. And
is that normal?
Yeah.
For a head coach to call a practice squad guy?
Sometimes.
Yeah?
Yeah,
okay.
Depending on if they like him, if that was their guy or not. So, like, Chip
That's cool
obvious.
That he did. He called you,
it was dope, though. Yeah, it was dope. And so, I got in a taxi. They booked me a plane ticket to Miami, South Florida, and that was my first stint. That was my first active action. I started as a kick returner against Jacksonville. We played against Jacksonville in Jacksonville. Had a couple good returns, and then played a couple special teams plays. But when I got to Miami, mind you, the only thing I had on was Eagles gear.
Right.
So I walk into the.
So you went right from the hotel
Yeah, I went
Did you
right
fly
from,
down?
Yeah, so I went right from the hotel, got in a taxi, went to the Atlanta airport, flew to Miami, or Fort Lauderdale. They picked me up.
In your Eagles gear.
All in Eagles here this whole
I'm
time.
here.
I'm there. I walk into like that, and this is when they were in Davie, like because now they're in Miami Garden. We're in Miami Gardens
At the Baptist Health.
Yeah, at the Baptist.
How's
Health.
that facility?
Amazing.
It's nice, right?
Top notch.
Yeah.
It feels like you're in a resort.
Yeah.
It does. Like
Looks
because
nice.
it's brand new.
Yeah.
It's like brand new. It was like the first year.
I don't like that they took that whole parking lot away. Personally, but
yeah.
Anyway, that's a personal thing. But it's nice that you guys have that.
Yeah, no, it's dope. It's dope. But so I walk into the old facility and I have the Eagles gear on. The guy who's the equipment manager and Joe and Charlie they're still with the Dolphins today.
Oh, okay.
Joe and Charlie, they're like the head guys of the equipment. And we still crack up to this day about me pulling up in Eagles. They still remember that. Like after I came back, they were like, "Yeah, you showed up with us." And I was like, "Stop! I know, y'all chill out. Like I know." But when I pulled up in the equipment, they're like, "Oh, we gotta get you changed out of this. Like this Eagles stuff gotta go." I was like, "I'm sorry, this is all I had on me." Like. My wife had to send, and thankfully, we were literally about to sign a lease back in Philly.
Okay.
And she was staying in the team hotel. She had to sneak into the players' locker room, grab my stuff, my clothes, and ship my suitcase to Miami.
Dude, I read the story about the cookies.
The cookies.
For the Browns.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I got choked up when I read. That must have been tough, man.
Yeah.
You got like the baby shower?
Yeah. No, so it was a bridal shower.
A bridal shower.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. I mean, if that's all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I read that and I was like, oh man, that sucked.
So it was the following year, my second year in the league. I had proposed to my wife when I was playing in Baltimore, and then the following year it was training camp, like around this time.
Yeah.
And preseason, that's when after preseason they make the final cuts.
Yeah.
Well, cut day was actually the night before, so they let everybody know the night before or the day before that you made the roster. So I didn't get a call or anything like that. So the next day, well, that night we celebrated. We went to Hyde Park down in Cleveland. And we celebrated, had steak with her family, right? Her family's from Cleveland. So I'm like, we good. Like, we got an apartment right here in Crocker, we're good.
Go.
Yeah. We're doing our thing, and so we celebrate that night. The next morning, she goes off with her family. Her dad is like the only male because he's helping out with the whole bridal shower. And she has all of her friends, all of her Browns friends and stuff like that too. At her bridal shower. Well, I get the call. Hey, the only thing they say, hey, this is so and so. You mind coming to the facility and bring your iPad? Once you hear bring your iPad,
that's it.
You're getting cut.
Like that's the term.
Yeah,
huh?
that's the term. So
wow,
we call them
bring
Reapers.
Your iPad.
We call them Grim Reapers. So if Grim Reapers call you up and say bring your iPad, that's when you're getting cut.
Ugh.
So they call me up that morning. They're like, hey, bring your iPad. You're getting cut. So I'm like, all right. I go down to the Browns facility and in Berea, and they take my iPad. They tell me I'm being cut. And then there's like 3 other running backs that get cut too. Like I wasn't the only running back. And they kept 2 of them. They kept Isaiah Crowell and Duke Johnson. And so, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, all right, that's fine. I thought I was going to be, the one.
Does Duke run like a 4.9?
Yeah. Duke's my guy, too. Yeah. Nah, but Duke
Sorry.
was Duke.
Sorry, Duke.
Nah, Isaiah. You good, Duke. But, it was, so they told me I was getting cut. And I go back to our hotel or our apartment down in Crocker and call my father-in-law. I'm not talking to my wife. Like,
no.
This is her special day, mind you. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not talking to her at all. So I call my father-in-law. I'm like, hey, Kev, You know, I got a little crackle in my voice. I'm like, hey Kev, I don't know how to tell you this, but I'm like, you with the girls right now? He's like, yeah, I'm with the girl. Why? What's up? I'm like, hey, yeah, I don't want you to say anything. I know, you know, it's their moment, but like, you know, I just got released by the Browns, and he was like,
he probably didn't know what to say.
No, he was like, are you serious? I was like, yeah, man. And he was like, all right, well, I'm not gonna tell the ladies right now. So I was like, yeah, please don't. He's like, I'm not gonna do that and ruin her day, and we'll talk about it when we get home. And
so you had to suck it up all day.
Yeah, so I was just sitting on my couch, just like, what do I do from now? Like, what do I do from here? And then my wife comes, and she comes through the door. It's just me and her. Her parents aren't even there. She comes through the door in our apartment, and she just gives me a big hug. She's like, I'm so sorry. I'm just sitting there. I'm like,
so you didn't tell her?
No, I didn't tell her.
Your father-in-law told her?
No, let me tell you how she found out.
Yeah.
She found out because one of the wives of the Browns players, or one of the girlfriends, fiance, whatever.
Right.
That was at the bridal shower.
She told her then?
Caught wind of it and was like, she went up to her and was like, hey, I'm so sorry about Raheem. Yeah. Man, I just found this out like not too long ago. Oh my
God, that sucks.
I had no idea. I'm like, she gave me a hug and I'm like, she's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Not thinking that she already knew. Like, and she was like, yeah, I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it's all right. We'll figure it out. Yeah. And then we sat on the couch. This is like the most pivotal moment of my career. Swear to God. Like, right hand on the Bible. I asked her this one question. I said, what do we do from here? Like, and she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I don't know. I've been getting cut. Like, I'm tired of going through this roller coaster. Like, what do we do from here? This the one thing she told me. And she said, how much do you love this game? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I've been playing this game since I was 6. She was like, well, that's your answer there. That's all she said. I got
goosebumps, dude.
That's literally all she said.
You just gave me goosebumps.
I know. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, you know what?
Dude, you got a good wife on your hands,
I do.
That's nice.
But she came from, like, if you know my wife, like, she's a soccer player. Like, she grew up, and she's a black belt in Taekwondo.
Come on.
So she been doing Taekwondo.
So she wears the pants in the house.
Yeah, she does. I'm not even gonna fight her. Whatever you say goes. Like, yeah. I'm not gonna bicker with you. Like, I don't want you to start kicking me. Like, but she grew up that way. Like, her dad was like, he's a little bit like your size. Like, he's like, you know, but he was a wrestler.
Short and fat.
But he was not short and fat. Nah, not short and fat. Nah, you ain't even short and fat like that, man.
I got a couple on me right now.
That's cool, but so she, like, her mindset has always been, hey, look, either you're all in or you're all out. Her mom was like that too. Like, there ain't no half-ass in anything in life. Mm-hmm. Like, either you're all in or you're all out. Like, they're blue collar, like, Clevelanders, like they're all about that.
Yeah, hard working. That's all that matters.
Hard working. Like, her dad is a landscaper up in Cleveland right now.
Okay.
And like, they just moved down here, but he's loving it up there. Like, he went to Paul Smith's up in upstate New York to be a lumberjack. Like,
okay,
that's what he wanted to do.
Wow. And
then he came back to Cleveland, and he's a landscaper. He's on his own business for 30 years. Man, he doesn't even know how to work his phone. Like,
yeah,
there's no such thing
as
like
Rich.
Rich, I'm sorry about that. Like, when it comes to, like, transactions and, like, wiring stuff on your phone, like online banking, doesn't exist.
Forget about it.
He doesn't know anything about that.
It's cash in your wallet.
Cash only.
Yeah,
that's
it's my kind of guy.
Yeah, he's cash only type of guy. He hardly wants to use his credit cards.
Yeah,
he doesn't even know how to get on the computer. Well, actually, he's learned. He's learned. Yeah. Over the years, he's been
past his AOL phase.
Yeah, he's past that AOL phase. Yeah, he's learning how to write emails and stuff. He's figuring it out. But that's because of my mother-in-law, though. But that's who they are. Like, that's That's why I love them so much. That's why they're always going to be
nice.
They've been behind me since.
So she's bringing that to the table for your family.
Oh yeah,
and that's great.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. So when she asked me that question, I'm sitting there. I'm like, let's keep riding. Like whatever happens. So we'll just roll the punches. My wife is like super smart. Like she didn't get a single B her entire life. I remember when we were in college, our senior year.
Right.
She got an A- and was in tears over medieval times. She couldn't understand like what she was reading, but she got an A- and was crying.
Really?
And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like,
yeah. All that Geoffrey Chaucer stuff, like that old medieval
yeah,
speak.
Like
that
all
stuff.
that. Like she was having a hard time. She got an A-.
Like pre-Anglo.
Yeah. Van Gogh, all that period. She was like crying. Like I'm like, babe, an A-, like you're crying over A-. I've never got an A- in my entire life. I'm like, be thankful, like
yeah, right.
But that's who she is.
That's
she's
all right.
But I'm happy. So
she holds
she's
herself
like
to a standard.
Yeah,
That's
she
all right.
she holds
Appreciate
herself.
that.
Yeah, she definitely does. So, when she asked me that question though, man, I was like the same thing as you. I got the goosebumps. I was like, all right, let's go. Let's keep doing this.
Nice.
And the rest is history. I got cut like 2 more times by the Jets and the Bears before I signed with
the
the
Jets.
Niners.
I mean, they don't know what they're doing.
I was there for
Come
a
on.
week. I was there for a week.
What the hell with the Jets?
Yeah.
But is that even a team?
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
I got to put it on the list.
Dude, I got to tell you something. You want to hear something funny? My kids growing up literally thought that the actual name of the Jets was the Stinky Jets.
Really?
Yes. Because I would just call it the Stinky Jets.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're playing the Stinky Jets this week, the Stinky Jets, right? And they would just refer to the Stinky Jets. And someone asked them, like, why do you call them the Stinky Jets? And they're like, well, that's their name.
Right.
Like I had them believing that was the name of the Jets.
You instilled that in them.
Jets.
Oh yeah, everybody hates
Sorry.
the Jets.
Yeah, come on.
I hate the Jets.
Yeah.
There
you go.
I'm a lifer now of hating Jets. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
So things go well in San Fran, though.
Yeah. But like you said, ups and downs.
Right.
Ups and downs. My first ever counted touchdown rather than preseason against the Raiders. I had like a 50-yard touchdown, and I was ecstatic.
Yeah.
Right. I just scored my first touchdown in my career. Like, still have that ball and everything.
Been a good feeling.
Great feeling, right? That's the highest of high. Like that's as a running back.
Shit, I made it across the line.
Yeah, when I crossed I made it in a regular season game, crossed the line. It was a 50-yarder. Like, I did that. Next series, break my arm.
Right.
Lowest of low. Like broke my arm.
Finally
out the rest of the season. I got 2 plates, 21 screws.
What?
Yeah.
What the hell did you do to break your arm? You had 21 screws.
Go look on YouTube. That's all I'm gonna say.
Really?
Raheem breaks arm. You'll
all right,
see.
I'll have to look that up.
Oh yeah, it's disgusting.
Damn,
it's like one of the grossest injuries in football.
When did you first meet Mike?
I met Mike 2017 because 2016 I told you don't burn bridges.
Mm-hmm.
Chip Kelly was the head coach of the Niners when I got picked up at the end of the year in Orlando. We practiced at UCF, and as I was walking in, a running back just got released because Chip Kelly wanted me because I just got released from Chicago because I had broke my pinky.
Chicago?
Yeah, I was a Bear.
Really?
Yeah.
For how long?
I was there for like 6 weeks.
Really?
Yeah. Playing off and on practice squad, and I broke my pinky, and then the doctors cleared me and then released me. Well, they asked me if I wanted to stay on practice squad IR, which is like IR but getting paid practice squad money, or they would clear me and then I can get picked up by any other team. So I was like, just clear me. And then I got picked up by the Niners. Chip Kelly called me, let in when I got cleared, and flew to Orlando, met them. They just played the Dolphins.
Right.
And then they were going to play Chicago. So it was an East Coast trip.
Okay.
So midway, they were going to stop and practice in Orlando and stay in Orlando until they flew up to Chicago to play Chicago. Because if you're on the West Coast team and you're playing 2 doubleheaders on the East Coast, you're not going to fly from Miami back to San Francisco, then go back to Chicago to play and then back. You're just going to make a nice long week trip, right? You're going to play Miami, stay in Orlando, and then play Chicago, and then head back.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right. I guess that makes sense. I want to travel. It's not like the flying to Edmonton every 2 days.
Bro, I was actually.
Did you go up to Edmonton?
I wanted to so bad.
Oh my God.
I wanted to so bad. I know somebody that.
You want to see Oiler Girl?
Hey, she came out with a video saying like "F you guys,"
Yeah, I
like
saw that.
I'm me.
Yeah.
Like I was like, hey, good for you.
Yeah,
Like
saw
I'm
that.
happy for
Still
you.
for herself.
Yeah, that's awesome though. Now I wanted to go to Edmonton so bad, but I had to go to LA, so that's why I missed Game 7.
Oh right,
I missed Game 7.
Yeah.
I was in LA for the NFL branding,
right,
and networking opportunity.
Yeah, I didn't go to Game 7. I wanted to go to Game 7, but honestly, with my kids so into hockey, and like tickets are really expensive.
Yeah,
I don't want to drop that on. Like nosebleed was like $1,000.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I'm like,
tough.
I got to drop that twice for me and my son to go.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Then my daughter's gonna get upset because she's gonna be like, "What about me?"
Yeah,
those, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. So I'm like, how about we all just watch it at home?
Yeah.
So that seemed like easier.
Yeah, I was watching it in the hotel.
Yeah.
Right at the hotel bar.
So you're like the only one like happy out there about it?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
my God.
Yeah. I was the only one in
on an island.
Yeah. Everybody was watching the game. They were more worried about the Copa America game. I'm like, this hockey game is on right now. This is Game 7. Y'all crazy.
I was watching. It was USA versus Uruguay, the one we just watched.
They lost
the other night, right? And my son was like laughing. He's like, Dad, they're falling down for no reason. He's like, imagine if they played hockey, they wouldn't last like period.
Oh yeah.
Like, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's a sport. It's a pro sport. I don't want to knock it.
My wife played soccer.
Yeah.
And she put me on soccer. Watch how the women play.
Yeah.
Women's soccer versus men's
tougher.
Soccer. They play so much tougher than men's. And like she's like, I don't know how you play a men's sport and you flop
it's
this
stage.
much.
It's
I'm
an
like,
acting.
I
don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't get it. All right. Anyway, I don't want to get into that too much. I don't want to listen. It's a pro sport. I don't want to knock them like in front of another pro athlete. But when you came here, right? You have a good relationship with Mike.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't mean to keep harping on it, but I really want to find that out. Like, I want to find out, because I remember, like, when you came here, and I know, like, a lot of it had to do with Mike and everything like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm so fascinated by that, because of just knowing your story and then hearing it from you now, and seeing your progression and seeing how everything kind of culminated, and just seeing like Mike kind of pick you from there and bring you here, and then he was right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was right.
Yeah.
And it's like when you came here and then you blew up, man.
Yeah. Now, I would say, me and him have a great relationship. It started in 2017 when Chip Kelly got fired from the Niners, and Mike came in, and we just built a relationship, purely off that. He was a run game coordinator for like several years, and then he got the OC like the last year he was with the Niners.
Yeah.
And then, I would go in his office. We would talk so much about the game plan, about, how I can improve what he saw on, like, the defensive front each week. I would always try to pick his brain because he's so knowledgeable about the game.
Smart guy,
yeah,
right?
Super smart guy. Yale guy.
Right.
Understands football, angles, all that good stuff. Right?
Funny as hell.
Yeah, funny. Still quirky. I tell him all the time. So I tell him all the time, man, you're a cornball. Like, stop acting like that. Like, that's just a relationship we have, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why I signed here, it wasn't only just because of him. It's also because, like, I want to be back in Florida. Like, I'm from the state. I have the opportunity.
When you were here the first time, sorry to cut you off, but you were here the first time, was that, like, cool for you? You're, like, thinking, like, man, I'm in Florida?
It was super cool because not too many people know that, like, my first ever NFL game was driving from New Smyrna all the way down with my grandfather and his friends tailgating. I was, like, 16 at the time?
Yeah.
And just watching the Dolphins play. Like, nice. I watched the Dolphins play. That was my first ever NFL game. We got Jacksonville that's right up the road, but like we came down all the way down here to watch, Miami play against the Patriots, and I witnessed Ricky Williams play. So it was like,
dude, I'm so happy you brought that up, right? And the reason is this, right? Because I was thinking about it, like, before. I'm like, man, Raheem's coming on, and I'm like, with the season you had last year, especially.
Yeah.
Right. I'm telling you right now, like I was too young to really witness like Zonka and Jim kick.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Ricky was like, I loved Ricky Williams, like such a beast of a running back. Right.
Yeah.
But you and Ricky are the two greatest running backs that we've ever had play for the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
Right. And it's tough to say to me, like, which one. You guys are completely different types of running backs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Because
I was thinking about all the running backs throughout the years, and I'm like, oh, man, Raheem's right there, man.
Yeah. And I would say, like, you know, I'm honestly honored that you said that because, like, I look at Ricky as, like, one of the best running backs to ever put the uniform
and JT,
on.
But those are my two, and Zach. Those three guys were, like, my favorite players growing up.
And even Larry Zonka. Like, I watched old film, right?
Yeah.
That's what I do. Like, I love watching.
He was just an ass kicker.
Yeah. But I love that, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's the reason why he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That's the reason why the running back position is the way it is. Like, you know, his pure dominance and the way he ran the ball, you know, he didn't care who you were. Like, you know, he's gonna run through your face.
Right.
Like that's the epitome of the running back position. But like nowadays,
you get a lot of joy running people over.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Oh,
That's got to be like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because like people really think that like, oh, he's just all speed. No, I'm more powerful than I am fast.
Right.
Like, you know, I bring a lot of power to the game. Like I like contact. Like I like the physicality. Like it's something about it. Like I've been doing, you know, this all my life. Like I don't shy away from it. Could be a 300 and something pound DN. Like I don't care. Like
right.
I might get crushed. I might not, but that's not my mindset is to run through his face mask. Like, and if I can't run through him, then he's definitely not gonna catch me. So
right,
like that's out of the question. So, but yeah, no, it's definitely appealing when I run through somebody for sure. Yeah, and them not expecting it. Like I think that's just like a one up to like, oh, you didn't expect me to run through. You thought I was just gonna run past you. Like, oh yeah.
And they're not expecting your hands either.
Yeah.
Because I mean, case of that, the wide receiver came out in you against Dallas with that touchdown.
Oh yeah,
that was
yeah. No, it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had some good catches though. The Buffalo one where I went over the top and got smacked. Lost my breath. I was like, okay, come on, I need to get out of here.
You had the wind knocked out of you on that one.
Yeah. I had to take a breather. But it's fun, man.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Can you do me a favor? Can I put in a request?
What's that?
Please, right? You don't have to say yes, but if it happens, it happens. It's cool. When you score a touchdown next year, right? Give me double ones of these.
Double ones?
Yeah. Can you do that?
I could definitely
do that.
Yeah,
is that all right? Yeah. And then I'll feel
if I do my surf celebration, and then I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna just I got that one.
Yeah. That's all I want to see. I want to feel
that. I can do that. Put in a request.
Then I'll know. Then I'll know. Like,
yeah. You're gonna then it's gonna be like
that's it. I'm gonna start crying. I'm gonna start crying like when we raise the cup.
your kid's gonna be grabbing me. That was wrong with you.
Yeah.
Like don't worry about it.
Don't worry, man. I got these.
Me and him. I got these. Heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
I can definitely do that. Yeah,
that's sweet. Yeah. So we're gonna have a good season.
Yeah, man, I'm praying on it. I feel like now is the time. I feel like, you know, the fan base is behind us now, even more so because the Stanley Cup, right?
Yeah.
The Panthers, what they've done.
I think that's going to carry over. It's going to be hot because of that. I think people are not. I really think, like, as someone who grew up down here and has just been a fan of it all, you know what I mean? Yeah. I kind of get the vibe that we're feeling it for the Finns now. Like, let's bring that momentum over here because it's kind of cool how the teams all kind of get together.
Yeah.
Right, and kind of cross over and support each other, and you know, it makes everyone feel good. And
that's how you know what's crazy. Like that's how it was when I was in the Bay Area, like with the 49ers. Yeah, like we were winning, right? We were going to championships and you know NFC Championship and Super Bowl and playoffs. Even with like you know the Warriors,
like Golden State.
When Golden State was doing their San Jose Sharks were doing their thing at one point. Like it was the same style and the football team felt it. Like when San Jose Sharks were doing good, like the Warriors were doing good. Warriors are doing good. Guess who else was doing good? The Niners. So like it's like all that juice and energy within the Bay Area.
There's like something to that, like the whole Titletown thing, right? Like that happened in Tampa with the Bucks and the Lightning.
The Bucks, Lightning, and then the Rays were doing.
Yeah, the Rays were doing good too.
They were doing good too. And I think they were close to the World Cup or something like that at one point. But when you got that energy around in a certain city, and you're making noise, it's definitely. I mean, think about like the Rams when they won the Super Bowl, right? The Lakers, they were in the mix too. The Clippers were also in the mix, like. The LA Sparks, they were all in the mix. Like everybody, when you're winning, the Kings, the LA Kings were also in the mix.
It's true.
A little bit. They were in the playoffs. So once you bring that energy, like from one
Texas Rangers, Dallas Stars.
Exactly. Right. And then the Mavericks.
Yep. Right. Mavericks. Yep. There you go.
Cowboys gonna be Cowboys. Come on, let's be real. But it's definitely
Harris is not gonna like hearing that one.
It's all good.
Yeah.
But
Harris is a big Cowboys fan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah. But I'm not.
But yeah, it just brings like a lot of energy around, and so I feel like this is our time, and it's either now or never. That's my mindset. I feel like just because I've been this is my third year in this environment. The first 2 years we made the playoffs, but we couldn't get in the first. We had the first round exit. It's just off of momentum. Like you just got, and it's just gonna come. Like it's gonna keep building more and more. Especially with the pieces that we have now, the guys that we have in the locker room.
I like the Jonnu addition.
Yeah.
I think he's a really good player.
Yeah, I'm excited for him.
I mean, we'll see what Beckham can do.
Yeah.
But listen, with your assistant is improving, right? Devon's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, he's showing a lot of promise.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, how is he to work with?
Man, he just be vibing.
He's a good kid.
Yeah, he is. He
Yeah?
is. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And then we still got Jeff Wilson in the background.
Yeah, Jeff too. That's right.
So
Jeff came up with some big runs last year.
He
at the end of
did.
the season.
Yeah. I mean, when he first got here too, he was making some noise.
Yeah.
But just excited for the whole room, honestly.
Yeah.
We still got some young bucks in there too. Chris Brooks is gonna be a good back. Savon. So Sav is gonna be straight. So we're excited, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
We're excited too.
Yeah.
And we'll see how the defensive changes go.
Defense, I'm telling you.
You tell me the defense is clicking. I'm loving that.
They're clicking. The energy's up. We signed Poyer, which is huge in the
that was
back
big. That was big. Needed that.
He wanted to be. He stays in South Florida.
Yeah.
His house is in Fort Lauderdale, so he's excited to be down here in the warm climate. He hated Buffalo. And
it's nice to have that veteran presence back there too. The intelligence I think that he's going to bring in the backfield
they're just the way they're firing on all cylinders, and the way the defensive coordinator has them going. Man, he's
the new DC he's a good dude.
He's
from Baltimore.
He's a good dude.
Yeah,
he's a good dude.
You guys like him.
Yeah,
I bet.
I like him.
Yeah.
Javon told me last week. Yeah, when we were in LA, because he was in LA with me. He told me, he was like, man, you and Coach, definitely have the same mannerisms. I'm like, oh, for real? You see him and me, and that's funny. I'm like, bro, I'm just so chill.
Think you might coach one day?
I don't know.
It's too early to tell that, but
I'll coach my boys for sure. Yeah. If they want to play, I'm not gonna force football on them. I just don't. I know the football's football. Concussions. That's what I'm scared.
That's a real thing.
Yeah, when you have kids, hearing about concussions, that puts me on edge. I'm like, I don't know.
Especially for a guy like you who really sees it.
Hey, I told my wife, hey, look, the only positions my kids are gonna be playing is cornerback, receiver, or quarterback.
Right.
That's it.
Or hitting off a tee.
Yeah, hitting off a tee. Yeah, that's the first choice.
Right.
That's the first choice.
I think that's a smart choice.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. They have promise though. Whatever they do, like my wife said, it's either all the way in or all the way out. There ain't no just dipping your foot in the water. You're either jumping in that water or you're not jumping at all. So
I love that.
My wife she said, if you're gonna be a cheerleader, if our kids are gonna be a cheerleader, they better be the best damn cheerleader they possibly can be. 110%.
All A pluses.
All A pluses, baby. Yeah.
Real quick, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
I think everybody here wants to know this. Who wins in a race? I'm not even going to mention. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, nah, I'm gonna win.
You're going to win.
Yeah, I'm gonna win.
Yeah.
Yeah, people asking me all that. I'm gonna tell them I'm gonna win. Like, yeah. It depends on the yardage, though. I'm not gonna lie.
It depends on the yardage?
Yeah. If
So,
it's 10 yards, they got it. But if it's like 40 yards, 50 yards.
When you playing off, there's no catching it.
Yeah. When I'm taking off, yeah. Best of luck.
All right.
Yeah.
We're taking that to the bank.
Yeah.
They're taking that to Raheem. I am on cloud 9.
Hey, man,
that you
me
came
too.
to see me tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you having me, man. This has
been absolutely special.
Yeah, it was great talking to you, and getting to know who you are as well, and you getting the insight of what I do, my life, and what I mean.
I think that's really cool that you brought that to the table, and you're allowing like the audience to understand like a lot of like the inner workings, not only just like of the way things are, but just like how your head operates. And I like that.
Yeah, I tell people like, look, man, just keep always having that mindset of forward thinking, and you'll be better off, and don't ever look back too. Like, just keep whatever happened in the back, that's in the past for a reason. Like, just keep it forward thinking, and good things will come to those that wait and be patient, and at the same time, good things will come to good people. So be good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's go fishing.
I'm down.
You ready?
I'm down.
Harris is going to take us all out.
Yeah.
When he gets back from the Bahamas.
Let's go. I'm ready.
Yeah. Nice.
Hey,
right.
I like Bahamas too. I love the Bahamas.
We can go there.
I want to do a trip in it's called Exuma.
Yep.
Exuma. Yeah, I want to go to Exuma. I went to Spanish Wells with one of my
Spanish Wells. It's all great, man.
Yeah. I didn't realize like Spanish Wells, like it only requires like golf cart, like 90% of the island's golf cart. I thought that was so cool. I was on a
like
gas
Bermuda's
golf cart.
like that too, where it's only golf.
I'm not touching Bermuda.
No,
I really believe in the Bermuda Triangle.
A nerve with Bermuda.
The Bermuda Triangle really is like throwing me off.
All right.
I don't know what it is about it.
Well, we're in it now.
Oh yeah.
This is part of the Bermuda Triangle.
It is it?
Yeah, this is the second tip or something like that.
It is for real?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta get out of here. Yeah. I'm just messing with you. All right, well, hey, you calm my nerves. I feel like everything's good over here. So.
It's all good. Yeah, it's all good.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for having me on the show, man.
Yeah, man. No, this has been a treat. This has been a treat. I also want to give you. This is from me too. This is that painting behind you.
Okay.
So that's the IGFA World Record book. So
nice.
That for you. So we're going to cover that.
Yeah, man, you give me some good stuff, man.
Yeah. So I want to just remind everybody to become an IGFA member.
Yeah.
You're not only supporting a long-standing American institution that keeps track of all the records in the world for all the fish. They do a lot of good for conservation and the health and management of our fisheries.
Yeah, I'm huge in the ocean conservancy. Yeah, I've been a part of that, spokesperson and all that stuff. So I truly believe in the ocean and everything that it's about. Clean ocean, man, is all good for me.
Does your foundation ever get involved with doing any like ocean conservation?
Yeah, I did when I was in Cali.
Yeah?
Okay. We would do like ocean cleanup and we do all kinds of stuff. So I actually want to start doing stuff with my foundation. Just doing like beach cleanups.
We should collaborate. We should do stuff together because with the Connected by Water.
Mm-hmm.
So Harris and I have been talking a lot recently about we're going to turn a division of this into like a foundation portion of it because the name just screams foundation.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
But we do a lot of conservation work as it is already, especially like through our artwork.
Yeah.
A lot of the work we do in our podcast, and like we're bringing in a lot of different organizations and talking about the initiatives and raising awareness. But we're also like rolling up our sleeves and taking action. Like even this painting here, this snook right here.
Yeah.
This is going to go to auction, and the money's going to be raised is for planting mangroves.
Oh wow.
Yeah, up in Merritt Island.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because we work a lot with Starbright.
Yeah.
Papa's Pilar. They're both like totally involved with doing a lot of different conservation work, reforestation, and everything like that.
I would definitely love to get involved, especially in my foundation. Like,
so then let's do some work together.
Yeah,
we can absolutely make stuff like that happen.
I'm with it
for sure. We're all about it. All about it.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah. So we'll get the ball rolling on that.
Yes, sir.
'Cause that's something we know a lot about, and we can be very helpful in that regard. So
perfect.
Right on. So camp starts 2 weeks?
Yeah, July 23rd is when we report, and then we're going to hit the ground running.
You got to get your vacations in now, kind of?
Yeah, I got a trip. Actually, I leave for Georgia. I'm going to a cabin in like Upper Georgia area, so it's gonna be a good time. Me and the family.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I got a LA trip. I'm going to ESPYs.
Oh, you are going to go to the ESPYs?
Yeah, just me and my wife like to go, so
we
like getting dressed up and everything, and doing a little red carpet scene and stuff. So
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But other than that, man, and then I got Tyreek's camp in Connecticut. He's doing a camp in Connecticut. He invited me, so his Speed Academy.
Hey, maybe he can go out and save all the dolphins up there too.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna be there with him. Come on, save some dolphins.
Yeah, for sure.
Can. Come on, dolphins, get back down south.
You belong in Miami.
Yeah, you belong in Miami, man. Yeah,
cool. So, well, listen, man. Thank you very much.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
This has been my honor.
Likewise,
for sure. So, Raheem Mostert, man, this has been special.
Yes,
so,
sir.
All right, we're gonna end this like we always do, right? Your ego is not your amigo. Always do your best. At the end of the day, just let God do the rest. Do not ever forget that no matter where we are, no matter what we're doing, we're all connected by water.
Oh,
cheers.
I like that.
Yeah,
I do like that for sure.
Cool. See ya.
Mm-hmm.